Back with you tonight on In Focus. Thanks for staying on. Now, the Eastern Cape Department of Basic Education has been ordered by the court to provide all outstanding textbooks and stationery to over 3,000 schools in the province by the end of March. This comes after the community and lobby groups took the department to court over failure to deliver the learning materials to schools. The department had initially planned to supply the material by April or May. Here to give us an update on how the department plans to move the delivery date to the end of March, joined by the Basic Education Spokesperson in the Eastern Cape, Vuyiseka Mboxela. Vuyiseka, good evening. Thank you so much for your time joining us tonight here on In Focus. As early as last week, Tuesday, you were reporting to the Portfolio Committee on Education, giving them an update, really, on recommendations that they had already made to you during their previous oversight visit. And one of the issues that was raised was this delivery of learning and teaching material to the schools. Any clarity on what is behind the delays in the procurement of this material?
Thank you very much, Thabo, and good evening to your viewers at home. And maybe we must firstly take this opportunity and again send a word of apology to the people of the Eastern Cape for this glitch, which has made them to actually be uncomfortable with the future of their own kids. But I can safely say there are plans that are being put by the department, and I can confirm even now that already the circular has been sent out by the SJ, the head of department, to all our schools, that the delivery that is going to start as of tomorrow, the 18th, and it will happen even during the weekends. And I must make this indication that as we understand that there's a court ruling, which we are trying very hard to make sure that we comply to it. If there are changes in terms of us meeting that a court ruling, we will be advised by the legal department, because it is the one that is dealing with the matter now. And maybe the last issue, which relates to what you are asking in terms of procurement. Yes, indeed, we have had a challenge when it comes to procurement, and such a and it is a result of a budget cut. Now we're at a situation, Thabo, where we must then make a request to Provincial Treasurer, do certain memos, and make an extensive presentation to, so that we can have a budget adjustment. And in terms of then buying books and also textbook, we were then very late, because you'd understand that we are not even a province that has got a textbook being bought internally. We have to rely in other provinces in buying such textbooks. And in terms of priority, if you come late in anywhere where you need a material, then you will be given a responsibility of knowing that you were late. So that is the kind of a situation that we find ourselves in. But in terms of the planning going forward, we don't envisage this as a problem, because already planning for the following year, it is afoot, and very soon we anticipate that the advert for delivery of textbooks in our schools would be done. But lastly, I can indicate that in terms of examination, that is not necessarily textbooks, set books to write, we're only left with 46 schools. And even there, it's just that these schools, they need a top-up based on different acceptance in terms of what they had planned they were going to receive in terms of learners in the province. And then the rest is the top-up in different set books in the 3,000 schools that you are mentioning.
Vuyiseka, this is more than just a glitch, for me and maybe for the parents who are affected as well. The primary objective for the department is to deliver access to education for all. And you'll agree that this particular non-compliance with that objective is not just a glitch, but it's a hindrance to the delivery of education, and a big problem for the education department. I understand you're saying it's a budget issue, but clearly somebody has the responsibility to budget for this and to plan for this. Who is going to be held responsible for this late procurement?
Reality, Thabo, is that when it comes to a process of application for money anywhere, It doesn't really go according to your own wishes. It also goes with the fact that we will all understand that as a country in general, we've been battling COVID-19 and we had to move a certain item and shift a certain budget from one point to the other. And even as a department last year, we got a budget cut, and it was as a result of a top slicing that was done by national government in all departments. And that's why I'm saying that if you can make a track record and a trace of this department, you'll find that we've never been in the corner that we're in. But it's just that last year we couldn't really be at a point that we could get the money that we needed. And that's why I'm able to say that the plans of the SG that which he had put even today indicated that it would not be in the same corner that we are in this year.
How? I mean, I hear your excuse of the budget cut. All schools in the country had budget cuts. All schools in the country were going through the process of COVID-19. It's not just the Eastern Cape as a province that went through this. Why are these situations peculiar to the Eastern Cape?
Yes, I would agree with you with that one. But reality is, you just said that the Eastern Cape is peculiar, and we all get to be told that we're a poor province. And part of that reality is that we've got a huge number of schools in the province. And above everything else, I am making an indication, Thabo, that we have learned a great deal in this process, and we are not going to ventilate as to trying to shift the blame. We're taking the responsibility, and we're making a commitment that as the plans that have been explained by the SG in the public and also the circulars are indicating that there's work that we are doing, and by the start of at least in June, there will be clarity in terms of how we're going to move in making sure that come 2023 there's textbooks in schools and there's nothing. And the fact that Thabo, you've got only 46 schools that are left in terms of set books delivery. It therefore means that there was a plan that was there. The only thing that we were busy with the 2,000 schools is to do a top-up. And that top-up is as a result of 98% retrieval of books, that which we procured in the previous years.
So how many schools are still left as far as the top-up is concerned?
In terms of the top-up, the last presentation, which is also mentioned by you, is 3,000, but I can tell you that number is going to be rushed in terms of delivery, because the delivery will even take place even on a Saturdays, and already the 46 that was left, which is on the side of Amatole East, is being also delivered to. And some of the realities that we find is that some schools, you'll find that they were closed, and when the delivery people arrived, they would have not found any person inside. So that's the kind of work that has been done. In the schedule that was given by the SG today, said that teachers, principals and SMTs must be on standby, because delivery will continue even on Monday, once we all know that it would have been a public holiday.
Okay. How does this affect the other areas that needed your urgent attention and delivery? For example, since December 2021 up until Feb 2022, it's reported in that same meeting that you failed to pay education assistance. What's the status of those education assistance?
Those have been paid, and I can tell you that we are also going to be afoot when we start the third phase. And 2 weeks back, the Honorable MEC and also the SG had a meeting with the National Association of School Governing Body in Flagstaff, and that is also where they explained, and they explained that there were 3 dates were in run, which is the payment will be done. And amongst those dates is the 25th of this month, which is also coming. And I can indicate that there is a run that has gone to schools. There are schools that have confirmed that they have been paid. And the last batch that is to be paid for this second phase is going to be on the 25th. And then after that, we start the process of the third phase as announced by the President.
Okay, so you've missed the final payment as you reported to the Portfolio Committee of the 8th of March.
No, we didn't miss it, Thabo. It's just that we extended it to be in phases. That 8th of March, it was also said that there will also be other runs, because remember, in the context of the Eastern Cape, we're not the ones that does payment. The payment in the province of the Eastern Cape is done by Provincial Treasurer, and Provincial Treasurer is having runs which they get to differ. You'll find that it's going to be, maybe making an example, it's a 15, 25, 31st. They always differ. They are not done by the department. It's not it that is paying. It just submit all the paperwork that is needed, and then provincial treasurer pay. And it's them that give us this. On this particular date, we'll have a run. On this particular date, we'll have a run. And in all these dates, we'll include the Department of Education because of the cry that was made in the public in relation to the payment of EAs.
Okay. Let's look then, as I mentioned, my question was, how does it affect the other issues that you need to be delivering on as per that meeting? E.T. Tabani, for example, ablution blocks there that are still not working, according to the latest report, or at least oversight that was done by the Democratic Alliance, that you had promised to install ablution blocks in E.T. Tabani, but as far as they know currently, none of that has happened.
The ablution boxes that are needed to have been procured. I can still remember that the MEC was in Mushwa, where he was explaining the second that there are almost like 250 movable classes that have been procured to assist one in the issue of overcrowding in different schools, and also there are toilets that have been procured to help different schools, and in those different schools include Iti Tabani, and also there are a number of toilets and also that have been completed in this year, which we're going to unveil across the province. And the report that was given in relation to Iti Tabani, when the MEC was appearing before the standing committee, it was indeed indicated that the work is being done, there's a progress. And even though we understand that the standing committee did discomfort in that, but they accepted the explanation by the department.
Yeah. So when will the ablution facilities be installed? Do you have a date? Vuyiseka, did you get that? I'm saying, do you have a specific date when the facilities will be installed?
Unfortunately, Thabo, I wouldn't mislead you and the public. I wouldn't really give you a date, but maybe even after this interview, for the sake of the public and you getting information, I can source that because it is something that is done in the Directorate of Infrastructure. But what I can confirm is that the MEC did give an indication that there's a work done, and even the SG did make an undertaking that the commitment which was made by the department, it is going to be delivered as such, and that will be made public.
Yeah, and then the other issue that the portfolio committee said you need to address with urgency is, of course, one, reporting all these challenges to national. I'm just asking if you have done that, and filling vacant positions, utilizing graduates in education, particularly to fill those positions. How are you advancing? What is the report and an update on that work?
First and foremost, Thabo, we've got what we called rationalization of schools, which is a program that is measuring unviable, dysfunctional schools. And in that process, we then automatically get to have teachers that are in access in different schools. And I can tell you that currently the department is busy working with the unions to do what is called merchant place. And he also is busy with also implementing a new organogram, which will see the department being a bit smaller at a provincial level, but massive at district level. And it is a work that is done in consultation with our own social partners. And I can confirm, Thabo, that in terms of our own data, we've got more than 6,000 young people and also whom are teachers that are eligible to be a teacher in the department as and when there is a position that is available. But what we cannot really be able to do is to say there is a vacant and then therefore we must quickly take a person that will be coming for the first time in the system, whilst we have different teachers in different schools that are in excess based on the rationalization that we are doing, which is a process that we started in 2012 of trying to make sure that schools in the Eastern Cape, there are not just many, but they are big and fewer. Yeah.
So are you saying the view from the province point of view is not the same view as the findings of the portfolio committee? Because the portfolio committee says major issues identified in their oversight. What was particularly common in all the schools, but particular citing, for example, CD Nane and Mushesh Agri School and Sive Special School, was the filling of teacher vacancies. So are you saying there are no vacancies currently that need to be filled, or what exactly? Just explain for us.
No. I'm not saying that their finding is incorrect, but I'm just saying that the department is busy doing what is called merchant place and also placement of teachers whom are accessed in different schools. And the report that is mentioning those schools is a report which is a result of a visit, which is not, which reality is that did not capture the fact that there are schools that are to be rationalized. Because now, if you are going to rationalize a school, it therefore means that that teacher that was in that school will be redirected to another school. But you are not going to just do that abruptly because you are affecting people's life, and that is why I have said that the rationalization process has given us teachers that are in access. That's one. Two, has also given us an opportunity to work with the social partners whom are representatives of teachers to make sure that in that process there is no teacher that is left outside before we can just say that we need to employ new people that are coming in the system. Yes, they are vacant. And maybe let me explain the issue of vacancies in the context of education. You will find that they will be saying there is a vacant in that school. And once there is a vacant, a human body is there. But the only thing is that that person is not employed permanently, is employed on a contractual basis, is employed maybe as an SGB teacher or is employed under one of the grants that we had, like ETDP. Now, it therefore tells you that when they say that there's a vacant, you must take a decision as a department to either employ permanently the person that is there, either acting, or employ a person that you would have taken from another school through this process of rationalization.
Vuyiseka, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on. That's Vuyiseka Mboxela, speaking on behalf of the Eastern Cape Basic Education. All right, we'll continue next.